The Creation of All, Chapter 9. I'm going to go back to the point Vayne got pulled under, so you know what caused the ground to explode like that, and the other important stuff. I tell Archie as we're in the middle of going through a car wash. At this rate, we're going to reach the Cicero building in about 2 more days. I do have a few questions. Don't worry, I'll explain everything. I then get back to the moment when Vayne is being pulled down through mud, since this is an important turning point for a couple of reasons. I'm being pulled down through the mud. I can feel the side of the Durgard's body next to me pulling me down further, and I can't move. It's only been a couple of seconds. How much longer can I hold my breath? I can't even hold my breath for a minute. Can my body recover from this? My mind is racing with the horror of dying down here, or constantly reviving only to die again. While thinking these horrific thoughts, the Durgard body pushes against me, and I'm pushed out into a pitch-black cavern, or what I can only guess is one. It's really cold in here. The ground is hard, but covered with a thin, slippery substance that's dripping on me from the ceiling. The air is thick, and the smell is musty. I can hear something moving around. I'm not alone. Something is moving around in the dark. It terrifies me at first, but I soon hear them grunting angrily. It's a person. I don't think it's a monster. Hey, who's there? I ask, since I have nothing better to do, and I need to keep my mind off the fact I'm trapped in darkness. You're that freak, aren't you? I'm stuck in some underground cave thanks to you. I can hear him coming at me. I quickly move out of the way, and I hear his outstretched hands hit the wall. Are you trying to hurt me? I awkwardly ask, hoping to calm this guy down. I need to befriend him. Working together would be the best for getting back to the surface. Hurt? No. I'm trying to kill you. I was about to land the finishing blow on that Durgard. I would have won if you hadn't grabbed me and pulled me down. The voice is really angry, and that doesn't bode well for me, but I don't remember grabbing anyone. I was freaking out and grabbing onto anything I could. Hold on. I think I recognize your voice. You're from Team 2, and I don't remember any of your names. I'm sorry, I didn't think I would ever need to know them. What was it you wanted to win? I asked, trying to befriend him. My name is Sekiro, and I want you to shut up. If I'm going to starve to death in here, then I prefer to starve in silence. Okay, he's mad. Too bad what he wants is the opposite of what I want. Silence is one of many things I want to avoid in this situation. Come on, it's just us down here, so what's the harm? I ask, but now I feel like I'm teasing him. Fine, I hear him say, sighing as he slumps to the floor, leaning against the wall. I and the members of my generation want to see if the story of our town sage is true, and if so, save a Habergraw. I don't respond. I just sit there, hoping he'll explain that. But he doesn't. So I have to ask. And that is? Both ugly and stupid, huh? I prefer homely and ignorant, thank you. I say, hoping to keep the mood light. Habergraws are creatures of legend, a type of cryptid not to be confused with the mythical creatures. These beings evolved into existence long before we did, and their bodies evolved the ability to be immortal. They live in secret, watching us criminals from a distance, keeping us guessing if they're real or not. Wait, I remember. You wanted a geyser? Our sage Mogo spent 100 years living near the Ilalio geyser in secret, as he believed the legend of the water granting immortality. He discovered that the legend was mixed with the Habergraws, and that one of them is the geyser. They're trapped down there, the water being tears from their cries for help. Are you serious? Yes. Mogo told us that the Habergraw is willing to offer all the secrets of its people to whoever can save it. How has no one noticed it before? Has no one dug down there to see? You die if the tears get on you. Other than that, I guess all the other questions are more mysteries to be solved. Have you ever considered that your sage may be insane? No, not for a second. If you met him, you'd understand. We sit in silence for a moment, as Sekiro has given me some crazy stuff to think about. He then starts asking me questions. Just what are you? I thought you were deformed at first. Sekiro asks, and I guess it doesn't matter if I tell him I'm human. I think most Krivadels would look down on me if I admit to being human, a form of life they see as inferior. I'm a human. Sidon did something to make me look like this. Now I have to take control of that nation to get home. I'd like to get them to stop abducting my people, too. That's why I got into this revolution. I hope to get people to start treating branch breeds better. I'm not sure how, but I figured I'd figure it all out when I get there. Well, here's a piece of advice for you. If you get out of here, you should ditch those friends of yours." Why would he say that? Why? They've been good to me. I start to feel anxious about how he said that. I bet you they haven't told you anything about revolutions. Just that there are a lot of them, they've never succeeded, but it's the only chance I have to get home. We just need money to get it started. Sekedo laughs in response before saying something. "Oh yeah, they're not taking this seriously. I swear they're going to get you painfully killed." "What are you talking about?" I ask, and now I'm sounding like the angry one. "Revolutions are taken very seriously. You don't just throw the word around like your leader did. I'm sure he thought he was being cool, but most people would see him as childish. Everyone on Mektra hopes for a revolution to overthrow Saitan. None of them have come close except for the Grandal Revolution." They told me about that. Their leader came the closest to winning. "Did they tell you the story of Michia?" "I don't think so." "He traveled through all of the 5 territories and earned the trust of the people there, gathering forces from them, building an army in the billions. He was able to keep it all a secret from Saitan. Not one sold him out to Saitan. That's what you would have to do if you just wanted to get close to having a chance at success. These people you're with are just doing this for fun. Have a fun time, then die when it's over. They have no idea what they're getting into. This is all just fun and games for them. By saying you're a revolutionary, you take on the hopes of every Krivadel in the world, even some of the citizens of Saitan." "Huh? Their own people?" "Oh yeah. I'm sure there are a few of them, mostly since only Saitan's elite, the upper crust of society, gets to enjoy all the special treatment. There are some things the common folk can't get. I can't say how many feel this way, but some wish for change. There are old stories that all nations hope to unify into one. People were planning to combine their cultures and customs into one so that all people could live as part of a global community. But that was around the time Saitan rose to power and stopped it. They felt it an insult to be considered equal to everyone else." Well, why doesn't Saitan just conquer the whole planet? "Because that means being responsible for everyone. Why bother having to look after all people when you can just push them around? It's just easier." Well, that makes sense. Bodaka and the others never told me any of that. Now that I think about it, they did keep me and Quiga out of their plans. They never tell us what their plans were. I think they're still upset that we interrupted Bodaka's at Eocon. "I would think so. Doing that is such a terrible thing to do. Now I think those friends of yours may just be using you. They'll ditch you or beat you to near an inch of your life as soon as you have no more use to them." Sekedo sure is giving me a lot to think about. I sit there having all the thoughts run through my head. Bodaka did say something about punishing us later. I only joined up with them because I didn't know what else to do at the time. I'm not sure if I know now. Sekedo then speaks up. "We should start trying to dig our way out of here. Since there is air in here, there should be a path back to the surface, or maybe there's a tavern town nearby." Sekedo says as he stands up, and I can hear him moving along the wall, feeling with the tips of his claws. "Help me look for a soft spot we can start digging through," he asks, and I get up to start feeling around, but soon I hear him break a piece of stone off the wall. Our little cavern instantly lights up from a stream of green light now coming in through a small hole. Neither of us say anything as Sekedo starts tearing pieces off the wall, revealing a corridor. Seeing he's at a loss for words, I take it this isn't normal for Mektra, so there's no reason for me to ask him anything. We step through the wall into the corridor. The green light is coming from the right, where the path turns, but on the left, the hall is caved in. We follow the path silently, but I can't keep quiet anymore. Do you have any idea what this light is, or this hallway? There are pillars carved into the walls, with stone arches running across the ceiling. You don't know who could have made this, do you? No idea. The style these are carved in doesn't look like any kind of architecture I've seen before. I visited the tavern territory once, and nothing there looked like this. We both keep walking, and now I'm even more terrified. Of what kind of person or creature could be living down here. We reach the end of the corridor and come out into a large open cavern, and the green light becomes so bright that it's blinding. Eventually, my eyes adjust to the light. I struggle to open my eyes, but once I do, I see a 3-story tall temple-looking structure built into the far side of the wall. It has a few steeples and a balcony on the 3rd floor. On the 1st floor is a wide open doorway, blocked by metal bars from the floor and the sides. I can't see anything beyond those bars but darkness. On each side of the doorway is a carving of a skull with green fire coming from the eyes and mouth, creating all the light in here. These skulls aren't human nor Krivadel. They look like different creatures altogether. They have longer faces, wider jaws, and bigger heads. I see Sekiro standing to the side, marveling at the structure. Do you recognize anything about this place now? I ask him, also marveling at the sight. No, I'm mostly amazed that it survived this close to a Durgard nest for what looks like a couple of centuries. Sekiro takes steps closer to the structure and leans in to get a close look. Hold on. It looks like the stone this is carved from is green. A dark green. Looking closely, I see that the rocks are a dark shade of green. Does that mean this material isn't stone? Do you think this doorway leads up? Up to the surface, I mean? I ask, hoping that this is a convenient exit. This place is filled with hate and anger. I can feel it in my core. Really? You don't even want to take a quick look? I asked, desperately holding on to hope that this scary doorway could get us out of here. If you want to check it out, go ahead. Sekiro begins to walk back to the hallway that brought us here. I decide to creep forward to the doorway. I look inside, and despite the bright green lights next to it, I still only see the darkness inside. It's almost like light can't enter in there or even exist. I reach my left arm through the bars and into the blackness. I don't feel anything, and I pull my arm back. Maybe I can break these bars or just jump up to that balcony. I bet I can reach it. I then begin to feel something crawling on the skin of my left hand. I look down to see my fingers have all turned the same green shade as the stones the structure is carved from. My hand starts to go numb as the green continues to spread, and I panic. Hey, what is this? I can't get it off! I start shouting for help. Sekiro turns around and watches me run around the cavern, scraping my arm against the walls. I'm hoping I can scrape the green off me. Thankfully, it stops spreading right before my elbow and simply drips off. Well, that was funny, and that proves this place is dangerous. I'm out of here, Sekiro says before turning to leave. I take a few steps to follow him, but we both stop and spin around when we hear a booming voice echoing off the cavern walls. I can't believe I have visitors. That was quite the humorous performance you put on for me. I look around to see where that voice is coming from. Suddenly, a figure walks out from the temple onto the balcony. I see him in the green light. He's an extremely old Krivadel. The white hair of his beard covers the entire front of his body, making him look like a big hairball. His arms are thin and emaciated. He's leaning on the railing of the balcony, looking down at us. Who are you? Both Sekiro and I shout at the same time. We're both in complete disbelief that someone is living down here in the place that infests your skin. Yet his hands are on the railing. He is inside the temple and nothing is happening to him. Or maybe it already did, for all I know. I am Karaki, the caretaker of this ancient relic. Among other things, thank you for asking. He responds, sounding friendly and well-adjusted enough in his old man voice. What are you doing here? Sekiro shouts what I'm thinking. You're interested in me? No one has ever shown interest in me before. He says it like he's fishing for attention. We just want to know why you're here and not who you are. I snap at him as the situation is getting to me. I can't say I like you. Whatever you are. He grunts at me. I must have offended him. I'm here because the aura the walls of the temple emit are constantly repelling all beasts and natural dangers, making this a safe sanctuary. That's not the answer we wanted, and I'm sure he knows that. If he's going to be difficult, then I'm just going to leave. Hey, can you point to the exit? I ask, really wanting to get out of here. Exit? My first guests ever, and all they want to do is leave. Well, if there was an exit, I'd tell you to leave. Your body isn't quite Krivadel, so you're of no use. However, you there, he says, pointing to Sekiro, you can be very useful. You must be the one I've been waiting for. What does that mean? If there's no way out, then nothing matters anymore, Sekiro shouts in anger. Calm down. It's not like there is no way back to the surface. But you just said there wasn't, I shout at this guy. That's because I don't like you. He then turns his attention back to Sekiro. For you to make use of this way out, I'll need to tell you the tragic story of this place. Have you ever heard of the Eskablen species? Sakato shakes his head. Of course you haven't! Because of the nation known as Seitan. That still exists, yes? He asked that in such an awkward way, completely changing the mood he was setting up. Yeah, they're still around, Sakato replies. Sorry, I've been down here for a while. I've been counting the days, but I lost count around 19,000 years. You have not been down here for 19,000 years, Sakato says, not buying what Karaki is saying. Yes, the average Krivadel lifespan is roughly 300, but there is something special about this place. Something that just keeps you going. When Seitan figured out how to travel to different galaxies, they soon discovered the planet Vayne and the Eskablen species living on it. Seitan introduced themselves and wanted to form a friendly alliance between the two worlds. Karaki then yawns for a solid 10 seconds before continuing. Unfortunately, the Eskablen's mortal enemies from the planet Tapaito, in the same galaxy as Vayne, the Driorgs, met with Seitan in secret. The Eskablens already made Seitan aware that the Driorgs were their enemies, but Seitan still accepted a deal from them. The Driorgs presented their plan for killing all the Eskablens with Seitan's help. Seitan wasn't going to work with them at first. What the Driorgs had to offer was already similar to what Seitan was already getting from the Eskablen. However, they changed their minds when they made a discovery. They found a mineral unique to Tapaito. The Driorgs used it as fuel, but when exposed to the Krivadel flesh, it was capable of anything. Are you talking about the Zir stones? That's where they come from? I ask without thinking, having interrupted Karaki. He just nods his head with an angry look before continuing the story. With a new arrangement in place, Seitan set out to lure the Eskblens to their doom. Seitan offered them a means to better further their relations. A large portion of each species' people will visit the other's planet for a few months. In doing so, Seitan just planted several hundred spies into Vayne, ready to do the bidding of the Driorgs. And it was done. The Krivadels of Seitan leaked important information and sabotaged key defenses for the Driorgs. When the attack began, the Seitan Krivadels stabbed the Eskblens in the back. They never had a chance. The Eskablen were wiped from their homeworld of Vayne. Last I heard, it's now being used as a second world for the Driorgs to grow their species. But what of the Eskablen that were on Mextra at the time, you ask? Why, they were hunted down and killed. Only a few dozen managed to get away. They found old abandoned tavern tunnels and started surviving underground. It was here that they created a small village, and this is the last and final piece of Eskablen architecture, the last surviving bit of their culture, and the last thing that proves they ever existed. This temple was made to shelter them and to ward off bad times, though they couldn't get much worse. Alright, this is all bunk, Sakato shouts. Those Eskablen had to be in the Seitan Nation, yet this place is in the ground of the Lorita Nation. Your story doesn't make sense unless you're saying aliens fled out in the open all the way here, miles away, with no one catching them. Wait until you hear the next part! Karaki snaps before continuing. Seitan promised the Driorgs that they would purge all of the Eskablen, so their hunt was relentless, and they eventually discovered this place. Tunnels left behind when the Taverns went to war with Seitan long, long ago. The survivors were gunned down, and their blood coated this temple. I remember it clearly, as I was one of those killers. I was a Seitan soldier. He pauses and his eyes drift down. It's been thousands of years and he still feels guilty? He was just a soldier. It's not like he gave the order. We were ordered to return to destroy this place, but after having killed the people, I couldn't shake this great deal of remorse I had. So much it weighed on me that I couldn't let the last piece of these people be destroyed. That's why I stole this. He points to his upper chest between his clavicles, or the Krivadel equivalent. You stole a Zir stone? Sakato says, and Karaki just nods in response. Yes, this stone gave me the power I needed. It was discovered by the scientist Jakoi while he was on Tapaito. I was assigned to guard his lab. When he returned with the stones, Using the connections I made when I was stationed at his lab, I stole one. I was caught in the act and almost killed, but I was able to use this power to flee. Karaki then takes several seconds to sneeze before continuing. The power I gained allows me to move myself and anything I touch at a high speed. A speed so high that anything I come into contact with is shoved aside. I would have done more of this power, but I can't see where I'm going when I use it. I returned to this temple and moved it elsewhere throughout the ground, thus hiding it from Seitan. So the Eskablens were killed in Seitan, and you moved the temple here. Still, they couldn't follow the trail you left behind? Saketo asks, and I was wondering about that too. What trail? I only hit dirt and moved out of the way, and then it moved back in. He explains like we're idiots. I don't like this guy much either. So why are you still alive? What have you been living off of? Saketo asks, sounding as curious as I am. Guilt and remorse for the things I did are what have kept me going all these years. You couldn't be any fuller of it. No Krivadel can live that long. Saketo shouts back at the aged specter. But you felt it since coming here, haven't you? The spirits of the Eskablen so wronged and killed on these grounds are among us. They've been here the whole time, moving through the air, the rock, and even our bodies. It is them that keeps my heart beating, my lungs breathing, and my mind thinking. Over the years, the rest of their people's spirits have found their ways here. Billions of spirits are among us. Karaki says that, but I don't feel anything. I think it's more likely that this old guy has lost his mind, or at least I would if he wasn't living in some underground temple. There must be some truth to what he's saying, and it's freaking me out. Hey, do you feel any ghosts? I nervously ask Saketo. Spirits, not ghosts! Karaki snaps back at me. What's the difference? I shout back reflexively. Ghosts are monsters that exist to scare and harm people. Spirits have hopes and dreams they wish to achieve, but have to wait for the right moment. I'm not sure why we're shouting back and forth. Wait, did he just say ghosts are real in this dimension? Yeah, I feel them. I glance at Saketo, who is now staring intently at the temple. What's in there? He asks Karaki, now sounding very intrigued. You want to go inside, don't you? Don't worry, nothing in there will harm you. Saketo takes a step towards the temple, towards the open doorway. Hey, you said that place is dangerous, I shout at him, hoping to get him to stop. Is it the ghosts? Are they doing this to you? They're not ghosts! They don't do that! He can refuse them at any time. He wants to help the spirits. Karaki shouts down at me again. He's right. I don't feel possessed. I can feel them moving around me, through me. I hear their whispers, and I can see visions from them. I can see a better life for me. He's saying that like someone who is being controlled. I move forward to grab and pull him back, but I can see the green on the temple move onto the floor and quickly move under my feet, creating spikes that stab through them. Ah! I shout in pain, pulling my feet away. Saketo, stop! I shout, looking up at Karaki, who is now grinning sinisterly. The bars on the doorway all collapse into dust, and Saketo walks through. He glances back at me, and I can see the tears running down his face. He's scared. This is wrong, really wrong. It's too late now. He's inside the temple and disappears into the dark. The green moves back onto the temple from the floor and into the doorway after Saketo. I now feel a rush of cold air filling the cavern. This place was a lot warmer a moment ago. I move towards the temple opening. I can hear squishing, snapping, and crunching sounds, but Saketo isn't saying a word. Is he making those sounds, though? I decide to go in and see if I can pull Saketo out. Once I take my first step in, a new figure steps out of the temple. Out of the darkness, I have to move back to get out of their way. This new being is just over 9 feet tall, towering over me. They have no hair, scaly dark green skin, and much longer arms, legs, and tail. Their neck looks like the length of their body, and their face resembles the skulls on the temple wall. It looks down at me. Its piercing stare feels like it stabs right through me. Saketo? I nervously ask. It feels like I'm talking to a giant lizard. I suppose I am, but at the same time, I am not. Saketo is a filthy Krivadel name, one I shall not bear any longer. He shouts at me as if blaming me for something. My name shall be Hydroa, taken from the first great Eskablen conqueror. So, how do you feel? I ask awkwardly, not sure what to say. Angry! He replies, leaning in real close as I move back away just in time to have a bunch of dust fall on me, and a rock hits me on the head. I quickly shake it off and look up at the balcony. There's no one there. Only a pile of dust remains. Did Karaki just turn to dust? I ask while I reach to take the rock that hit me, wondering what it was exactly. The moment I touch it, I feel every sensation a body can feel rush through me. I start cycling through every emotion a person can feel, one after another. Is this the Zierstone Karaki had? I quickly put it in my pocket. I can't use this now, but it may be helpful later. He no longer has any use. The spirits did not need to hold his body together any longer. Now they all dwell in me. Karaki was foolish to feel that much guilt over what he had done. It was that guilt that the spirits were able to latch onto and use to manipulate him into watching over the temple they were attached to. But now they are attached to me. You tricked him into protecting the temple for his entire life and beyond? He had another role. He needed to tell someone the story. We could only use a body that knew the history. Why didn't you just use Karaki? We would never let the body of one of our killers be the one that breathes new life into our species. We were willing to wait however long it took for this moment. Now there are only 2 loose ends to tie up. Oh? Is one of them being stuck underground? I asked, not feeling comfortable with how he's approaching me. No. There are means to reaching the surface left behind in the temple. I can use it after I kill you and destroy it. Only then will our plan begin. There's a plan now? I nervously said while stepping back as much as I could while he kept stepping towards me. Yes! A great grand plan that the Eskablen devised in this very place. We bet our lives on this and entrusted that our spirits would one day have the opportunity to take everything back. We'll turn Mektra into a new Yavail, and we'll use the flesh of Krivadels to bring our species back from extinction. We've already got one, he says, pointing to himself. You're saying your species' spirits can do stuff after death? I keep frantically looking for questions to ask, anything to keep him talking and not attacking me. Our spirits and bodies are 2 different things born at the same time. Our bodies die like any other, and that frees the soul that lives on until it has no more purpose. Our people were close to sharing this important secret with the Krivadels. Fortunately, they betrayed us before we could. A bit ironic, isn't it? They meant to wipe us out, but now we'll be wiping them out. On to more important matters. Our plan must be carried out in secret. No loose ends like leaving this temple behind to be found, or any loose lips that could warn Seitan of us. He raises his arms, preparing to grab me. Why would I tell Seitan? I'm no fan of theirs. Why would we take the chance, especially after waiting for so long? Hydroa growls that last part as he brings his arms down to grab me, but I duck down and move past him. He tries to swat at me with his tail, but I'm able to jump over it. Facing the temple, I now know what to do. I need to get into that temple, find whatever it is in there, and somehow figure out how to use it to get back to the surface. You hear them now, don't you? They weren't talking to you before. A spirit's whisper can change how a person feels. Of course, one spirit on its own cannot be heard, but with many more they can't be ignored. Hydroa says, and I can hear their whispers. They're telling me to give up, to kill myself. I put my hands over my ears, hoping it'll stop the voices, but instead I feel Hydroa's fist striking me in the gut, flinging me against the wall. He's still coming at me, and I can feel the spirits affecting me, and I can't avoid Hydroa with all these voices in my head. He grabs me by the shoulders, slamming me against the wall. Sekedo saw your body recover when you were hit in the head during that game. You've already recovered from my first hit. I could spend who knows how long killing you over and over again. Or I could just do this! He digs his claws into the rock above me and pulls them down on me, followed by dirt burying me. Once the temple goes, this cavern will go with it. The pressure will crush your body and keep it crushed until you finally die. I hear him stomping away to the temple. I can't let myself get left behind in here. The weight on top of me is immense. I manage to shake the dirt off my face, and I can see the lights in the eyes of those skulls are going out. Soon it'll be pitch black. Hydroa has reached the doorway and goes through it without looking back. I use all the strength I can muster to get free, and I manage to lift the rocks off my back. I wish I had time to be impressed, but I need to hurry. I race after Hydroa, and I have no time to fear the unnatural darkness inside this scary place. As soon as I charge in, I feel an immense feeling of sadness right before slamming against a wall. I feel around, discovering that I've run into a square-shaped pillar. I move around it, walking forward. I stick my arms out, but feel nothing. For all I know, this space could be as big as a convention center. I could be lost in this darkness forever, if not for the fact Hydroa is going to bring the ceiling down any second. In a couple of moments, I feel a rumbling as if this floor just detached from its foundation. I can feel something below pushing against the floor, and it begins to rocket upwards like the fastest elevator I've ever been in. I fall on my hands and knees. The upward force makes it hard to stand back up. "The spirits tell me you followed me." Hydroa's voice angrily echoes throughout the room. I can barely hear him over the sounds of the room moving through the dirt and rock, as the ceiling is pushing them away. This part of the temple was made to return to the surface while the rest is destroyed. Well, I figured that out, but now isn't the time to be thinking about that. I feel Hydroa ram into me, and I go flying back until I slam against another pillar. I reach around the pillar to put my hand on the wall to help stand up, but I feel moving dirt. I think I get it. Only the floor, ceiling, and some pillars remain, and are being forced up through the dirt by something built beneath the temple. "You see, if I push you off the floor, you'll be dragged into the dirt just as you were when the Durgar dragged you down." I can tell by his voice he's coming towards me. I randomly dodge to the left. He wasn't expecting me to move out of the way in time. I can hear him swinging his tail around and swatting the ground, trying to find me. The spirits found me and are in my ears again, taunting me, saying that I'm a monster, that I'm worse than Saitan, that I've killed so many. These spirits are trying to drive me insane. I try to run away from them, but I can't shake them. They're getting to me, making me angry. "Be quiet!" I shout. "You all are monsters! You want to kill a whole planet of innocent people!" Shouting that seems to get the spirits to be quiet. "Innocent? Maybe, but their species killed us! Do you think we care if these aren't the exact same people who did it?" Hydroa says back, and I don't agree with their thinking. "What happened to you was wrong, but the people who did that are long dead. You can't punish those who had nothing to do with it!" I yell back before stomping the floor, but I hit it harder than I realized. The floor starts to crack and shatter. "You pest! What have you done?" is the last thing I hear Hydroa shout as the floor breaks apart. The rising dirt and mud that was under the floor enveloped me and destroyed what was left of the elevator. The force that was pushing upwards soon stops, and I'm left stuck in place. Coming to a stop in the dirt, barely able to move. My entire body is numb. I struggle to move a hand above my head, hoping to find something. And amazingly, my hand breaks through. I can feel the air, but am I back on the surface or in another cavern? I feel a hand grab mine and pull me out. We should go back to the others now. Quiga says, and I'm so relieved that we found each other. "Quiga? What are you doing here?" "This is the same place you went under," she says, and looking around, it's now night, and the entire landscape seems to have changed. The mud we were in is now shaped like giant spikes and waves, now dry and hardened in place. Turning around, I can see the forest where the others parked, on the hill. If not for that, I wouldn't know where I was. "After the ground randomly erupted, I figured it was time to give up on you and go, but then I saw your hand come up." "Wait, so you waited for me? For hours?" I ask, feeling a bit emotional. "You're the only person I know who can potentially be useful for my goal." She says that, but I know we've made a connection. I finish pulling myself out of the ground and walk with Quiga back to the campsite. I then remember what just happened down there. "Quiga, you won't believe what I found. What happened? It was crazy. Ancient temple, genocide, ghosts out for revenge." "Don't care," she bluntly says. I'm not all that surprised she'd say that. I wonder what happened to Hydroa. Did he get to the surface or get stuck in the ground? I turn my head to look all around, but I don't see anyone or anything. These hardened waves of mud are blocking most of my view. Well, if he turns up again, hopefully someone else will stop him. I should probably tell Bodaka and the others about... Right. I remember what Saketo told me about how these guys are still out to get us for the whole Ryokon incident. It makes sense for them to get us once we have no more use. Saketo didn't think Bodaka was taking this revolution seriously. These guys are just out to enjoy the journey, not so much the destination. How'd the contest go? We lost because you were gone. Team 1 won. Oh, well, good for them. They seemed like they really wanted it. As we walk, I start reflecting on everything that's happened since I came to Mektra, and I can't tell if I've done any real good or accomplished anything. I saved the city of people, but the city was destroyed. I freed slaves, but hundreds then died. I let loose a genocidal maniac. This all happened because I've been following Bodaka. I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. Do I need to take control of this group? Maybe if I beat Bodaka and Ryokan, I can. And then get these guys to take this more seriously. Now that I think about it, Saketo said we need to create alliances with the other races and build up an army. That's what we should be doing. I also want to do something for the people of Awacho. Make sure those slaves found someplace safe. See Quiga be happy. Stop Saiton from doing all the evil things they're doing. And then get home. I have so much to do. I shouldn't be wasting time following someone else. I wonder, what happened to Trent? Did they turn him into a weapon like me? Is he dead? I hadn't cared much before, but now I can't stop wondering what happened to him. Chapter 9. End.